One of the stories that Annie Murphy Paul tells in her book, The Extended Mind, is a technique that actors use to help them memorize their lines. What they do is wait until that particular scene has been blocked, where their motions, their actions on stage have been mapped out. So they know what they're doing with their body. Once they've got a sense for their movements, that's when they might start to connect their lines to those movements, to the objects that they're interacting with. And that merging of physical movement with lines to remember, that's an example of what researchers call the enactment effect, which engages two types of memory at the same time. Procedural memory, which is all about how to do something, how to ride a bike, for example, how to move through space, and declarative memory, which is remembering specific pieces of information. In this case, the lines that you need to say out loud. And making use of this enactment effect isn't just for actors. It's been shown to work well for students too. Incorporating physical motion as a learning tool, engaging procedural memory, led to 76% retention compared to just 37% when only using declarative memory. So this effect here lives within the broader category of embodied cognition, which is one of the topics that Annie Murphy Paul explores. And I think there are some interesting connections between the enactment effect and the skill that we focus on here, the skill of visual thinking, because what we do is make marks on the page that help us remember a complex set of ideas, or think through a challenging problem, or present the way that we think about a certain topic that we need to share with others. So when used as a presentation tool, there's something similar going on. There's the ability to not feel the pressure to memorize the entirety of a speech that you're about to give, but instead get that speech, get those ideas into your body so that you can access them through procedural memory and not just declarative memory alone. That's the connection that I see between the enactment effect and the skill of visual thinking. With the enactment effect, thinking about actors in particular, the lines live in your body. With visual thinking, the ideas live in your hand, just as much as they live in your head. And for me, there's something really refreshing and powerful about this idea, whether you're working to remember something that you just want to apply to your own life, or there's something that you actively need to present to others. You can take the pressure off of what Annie Murphy Paul would call the brain-bound experience of just trying to remember everything in your head. And instead, you can bring that into your body so that instead of just reviewing important ideas to you, actively recreate them, sketch them out from memory in your notebook, on the whiteboard, on your tablet. We know from the book Make It Stick that the act of retrieval is a much more powerful learning activity than the act of review. And here the idea is, instead of just relying on your declarative memory when you're retrieving that information, bring in some procedural memory as well as you re-sketch out whatever it is that you're reminding yourself of or reminding others of. And in contrast to actors, whose goal is to deliver the lines precisely as they were learned, here I'd encourage you to not stick to the script. Don't try to repeat things exactly as you did last time. Instead, use that recreation opportunity to reflect on this model in the moment, in the current context, for this current audience. Use your procedural memory to get the core ideas down, but then meet the moment where it is and give yourself the opportunity for maybe something new to come from those core ideas. For other ways to think outside Site of the Brain, go pick up Annie Murphy Paul's book, The Extended Mind. If you've already read it and want to see a visual summary, I've got a video on that. And if you're interested in developing your visual thinking skills as a way to tap into the enactment effect and engage both procedural memory and declarative memory when you're working to learn something new or present some important ideas to others, check out the resources at verbaltovisual.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.